Here is the thing. A lot of members of the left are starting to realize that wokeness is destroying America, which is why, of late, you've seen some conversations about how you're not supposed to use the term wokeness, which is weird since they made it up. And so, I'm fine with using the term wokeness. I intend on continuing to use that word. It is their fault that it became a poisonous word, not mine. It's because the idea is incredibly stupid.
Is woke culture a force for progress, or is it limiting freedom of thought? Ben Shapiro, one of America's most outspoken voices, argues it's the latter. But why has woke culture become so polarizing? Today, we're exploring Shapiro's bold critiques and examining the profound impact of this debate. In the public sphere, woke culture has become a loaded term. Once associated with social awareness, the concept now carries a wide range of interpretations. According to Ben Shapiro, one of the most vocal critics of woke culture, this movement has gone beyond promoting social justice to enforcing ideological uniformity. Shapiro contends that woke ideologies are undermining free speech, promoting intolerance, and reshaping traditional values in ways that are harmful to American society. He argues that unlike its original meaning, today's woke culture acts more like a set of moral dictates than a progressive movement, setting standards for behavior and thought that anyone, intentionally or not, can fall afoul of. This criticism is at the heart of Shapiro's argument, and his analysis begins with a central question: has woke culture lost its original purpose? For Shapiro, woke culture no longer simply highlights social justice issues. Instead, he argues it's morphed into a belief system that pushes for rigid adherence to specific rules and interpretations. He sees this movement as one that insists on particular viewpoints about race, gender, inequality, and even personal responsibility. According to Shapiro, the woke framework often emphasizes collective responsibility over individual actions, which he argues unfairly disregards personal agency. This shift, he claims, reflects a broader ideological agenda that doesn't just strive for equality, but demands conformity, penalizing anyone who disagrees or steps outside its boundaries. Shapiro's portrayal of woke culture as an all-encompassing ideology raises questions about the balance between social justice and freedom of expression. Is it possible, he asks, to support justice and equality without policing thought? Shapiro often points to what he calls the 4 lies of woke culture to illustrate his critique. The first of these lies is the idea that America's history and current state are inherently negative, focusing primarily on systemic flaws while overlooking positive aspects of the nation's progress. Shapiro argues that while acknowledging historical injustices is essential, an exclusively negative portrayal fosters resentment rather than constructive dialogue. The second lie, as Shapiro frames it, centers on inequality. He suggests that woke ideology views inequality solely as a product of systemic injustice, ignoring individual choices or circumstances that may contribute to social and economic disparities. By attributing inequality only to societal structures, Shapiro believes woke culture dismisses the role of personal responsibility. This leads to Shapiro's third point, the erosion of individual accountability within woke ideology. He argues that by focusing on collective issues and blaming larger systems, woke advocates discourage people from recognizing personal responsibility. Shapiro believes this shift undercuts traditional values such as hard work and self-determination, which he sees as central to personal growth and societal success. Finally, he points to what he describes as a distortion of truth within woke culture. He argues that woke ideals have reshaped truth into something subjective where facts can be bent to fit narratives. For Shapiro, this lack of objective truth is dangerous as it undermines reasoned debate and fosters a culture where feelings and beliefs are prioritized over facts. Shapiro criticizes woke culture as a quasi-religious ideology, likening it to a modern belief system with intermediaries, activists, media figures, and intellectuals who decides what's acceptable within this framework. But how does this affect public discourse? Shapiro argues that these shifting standards create uncertainty, leading to self-censorship as individuals fear cancellation for saying the wrong thing. In his view, this culture leaves little room for forgiveness, making even minor mistakes or controversial opinions risky socially and professionally. To support his argument, Shapiro highlights how woke culture has shaped both corporate and public life, using examples like Ford's rainbow-themed truck for Pride Month. He argues that such actions reveal how companies adopt woke ideals to align with current social expectations, demonstrating the ideology's wide-reaching influence. For Shapiro, this trend reflects how businesses increasingly incorporate progressive messaging not merely as statements of value, but to fit within prevailing cultural norms. This corporate endorsement, he contends, shows that woke culture now impacts American society's behaviors, values, and business policies alike. Shapiro tackles the contentious issue of sex and gender within woke culture, challenging the view that gender is a purely social construct separate from biological sex. He argues that biology significantly influences gender and that separating the two creates a complex, inconsistent framework. To Shapiro, this approach exemplifies woke culture's tendency to redefine well-established concepts, leading to confusion and inconsistencies in societal norms. He believes this shift makes universally acceptable definitions difficult, adding to the broader debate on identity and truth. Shapiro's influence and appeal, particularly among conservative and libertarian audiences, come in part from his distinctive rhetorical style. Known for his rapid-fire delivery and reliance on facts, Shapiro combines logic and statistics with a straightforward, uncompromising tone that resonates with those who feel sidelined by progressive narratives. His debate style, often characterized by a strong command of data and assertive rebuttals, appeals to individuals who see themselves as critical of woke ideologies. By framing his arguments in a direct, data-driven manner, Shapiro effectively speaks to those who feel alienated by what they perceive as a cultural shift that prioritizes ideology over open discussion. Understanding Shapiro's views on woke culture requires a look at the historical context. His opposition to progressive ideologies began in the 2000s, a time when social justice movements gained public traction. But what intensified his stance? Shapiro points to events like the rise of Black Lives Matter and free speech debates on college campuses. Over time, his critique sharpened as he saw woke influence spread across education, media, and corporate America, with his rhetoric evolving to address these expanding cultural and societal impacts. His reach goes beyond commentary, shaping the language of opposition to woke culture and inspiring policies on free speech, especially on college campuses, as well as fueling online conversations that challenge and cancel culture's growing influence in society. Shapiro's stance on woke culture has far-reaching effects in digital media. As debates over social justice and free speech intensify, platforms like Twitter and YouTube become arenas for opposing views, often amplified by Shapiro's critiques. His influence resonates with those who feel open expression is at risk, underscoring how digital platforms shape public opinion on complex cultural issues. Yet as Shapiro's ideas gain traction, new questions emerge. Will woke culture debates fuel deeper divides, or could they foster balanced dialogue? As woke debates evolve, Shapiro's critiques highlight society's struggle to balance social justice with free speech. While some anticipate growing divides, others hope for a middle ground where these ideals can coexist. Ultimately, Shapiro's arguments prompt us to question whether justice and freedom can thrive together in today's shifting landscape. Whether one agrees with Shapiro or not, it's clear that the debate over woke culture is far from over. His arguments have sparked vital conversations about freedom, responsibility, and the role of social justice in today's world. So what do you think? Are Shapiro's criticisms a necessary pushback against woke ideology, or do they overlook the positive impacts of social awareness? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on the latest discussions shaping our world.